What's up, everyone? It's Adam from FWCI, and we got a big episode of World Wrestling Straya this week. We got some good news, we got some bad news, we got some Zion Quinn dancing to Shawn Michaels theme song news, I guess. So hit like and subscribe as always. This is World Wrestling Straya, episode 49. So we'll get into the big news of the week, which was the releases that all happened, but let's start off with the Aussie Wrestler Watch. We got Rhea Ripley on Raw. She was in a tag team match with Nikki Cross, and they lost to Carmella and Zelina Vega. So at least Nikki Cross is the one who took the pinfall, but Rhea Ripley just toiling away in the women's tag team division, not doing a great deal. Jonah was apparently supposed to debut at Impact Bound for Glory. I don't know if that means he's intending to stay exclusively with Impact or if it's just going to be a short-term thing or like what the deal with that was, but he didn't get to do the match and he's spoken up about why. Apparently he has visa issues. He said, "I've got a great set of lawyers actually helping me out. As of next week, things should be set in stone for me to be able to work places. I'm not going to say anything, but I think November you'll get to see Jonah around some places." So good to see that Jonah's getting whatever red tape it is sorted out that's keeping him out the ring, and yeah, I guess we might see him in Impact. I'd still like to see him go to AEW, but we'll have to wait and see. Grayson Waller had a match with Boa on NXT 2.0, losing the match after some interference from LA Knight, so building a bit more of this rivalry between Waller and LA Knight, which is very cool to see because, yeah, LA Knight's a great dude. Grayson Waller is, somebody who's got a lot of, raw charisma and talent. He's coming up the ranks pretty well, so I like this pairing. I'm interested to see what their match is like when they finally have a big, serious match. The Inspiration had a backstage interview on Impact this week. Not a great deal, just talking about the supernatural characters that all seem to be in the women's tag team division on Impact, and they're trying to avoid them. So a little bit of a promo from The Inspiration, but just great to see these two, in my news feed, wrestling, holding titles, and, doing their thing once again. Duke Hudson had a bit of a running segment throughout the show where he had Cameron Grimes in his poker room. I really like this pairing as well. I think Cameron Grimes' character and Duke Hudson's character are kind of natural foils to each other. So I hope this leads to a extended feud. I hope they put whatever Cameron Grimes, remodeling plans they've got on the side. Let's keep this going with the, cocky, kind of dumb hillbilly with $1 billion, and then Duke Hudson is like, more cool, calm, and collected, but just can't seem to fucking get one over on Cameron Grimes. So great segment, and not sure about Duke Hudson's choice of attire. I don't know. Have you ever seen a poker player wearing like bright gold vest and bright gold pants at the table? I don't know. You tell me. Zion Quinn had a segment, I guess, and a match that kind of came along pretty suddenly as well, with Robert Stone on NXT this week. This segment, now I'm probably going to cop a bit of flack for this. This is a bit more entertaining than I expected it to be completely honest. I know a lot of people out there probably rolling their eyes at this segment, and honestly, rightly so. This is not what I would have put, Zion Quinn in the ring doing at any point during his career. But the way it played out, the fact they used Shawn Michaels' song, and then it just immediately went into a match. The choreography there was kind of a bit weird, how he was like singing it and shit. Robert Stone was doing what Robert Stone does. He was just way over the top and, just selling everything like an absolute maniac. So this was a very fun segment. I don't think it was a total fail. I think Zion Quinn might be a bit of a introverted kind of guy, so I suspect that this is a bit of a test for him to go out there and really, be vulnerable and be outgoing and show what he can, do entertainment-wise. I think he did a pretty good job. And the greatest ledge of all time, Adam Brooks defended the RCW Emerald Crown Championship against James Cray on Halloween. Successful title defense, still a triple champion. Thank you, Bad News Barrett. Yes, it is time for the news. And Jon Moxley has entered rehab for his alcohol abuse. I'm not entirely sure how bad it is. I had no idea that Moxley liked the sauce that much. But what I really liked about this was CM Punk rallying the crowd on AEW Dynamite, I think it was, at this one. Fantastic to see the company getting behind Moxley and supporting his decision. Tony Khan's been very out there. It's a different thing to see in the world of wrestling, that somebody would come out with this kind of a problem very publicly and then be supported by the company for a change. Like, I feel like WWE would just throw out a statement and, say, hey, good luck with it, we'll pay for your rehab and whatever, like they do with everybody. But I don't think we'd see the overwhelming, support from the fans and from the company. So, an interesting turn of events for Jon Moxley. Also on Dynamite, we had Samurai Del Sol teaming with Aerostar. Holy shit, talk about Lucha Underground throwback. I love Aerostar. They answered the open challenge from FTR for the AAA Mega Tag Champions, or whatever it is that they're called. They would also lose the match. It was FTR retaining the titles, but unbelievable to see Aerostar on AEW Dynamite. I was so happy to see that. And obviously the big news, I'm going to get into that in this week's You Gotta Be Joking Me, because it's, that's all I can really say about it. But there'll be plenty to discuss, so let's jump into this week's Better Than Baron Corbin.
Oh, Nakamura has swiped the crown again. Steady Corbin.
So this is the segment where we have a look at what's going on with old mate Baron Corbin, because we just love to hate him. And then we see who had a better week than him, and I'm going to go with everybody's favorite wrestler, Budge. This whole Budge storyline with John Silver and Adam Cole that started on the Being the Elite YouTube show, this has been so entertaining. And Adam Cole, to his credit, he's somebody that's really kind of like, acknowledged the internet wrestling community, and he goes on Twitch. He's very candid about everything. Like, he's definitely somebody who I think at times can be hard to become a true heel, but he has totally embraced the disdain for this Budge character that John Silver's throwing at him. It's awesome to see this little sketch has made its way to being a main event on a TV show, and a TV show where we had CM Punk and Eddie Kingston doing their thing. Like, a good episode of Rampage was headlined by Budge versus John Silver, and I'm loving it. I absolutely love it. This is another example of AEW just reading the room and, doing the iron's hot. Let's strike now. Let's not wait till this thing has run its course. Fantastic booking by AEW and everybody's favorite wrestler, Budge.
You gotta be joking me!
This week's You Gotta Be Joking Me is Von Wagner getting pinned on NXT 2.0. You gotta be joking me? No, I'm kidding. It's the WWE talent release that happened just a couple of days ago. I'm gonna quickly go through the names here and then talk about a few in particular. It was Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Nia Jax, B-Fab, Harry Smith, who we never even saw on TV, by the way, Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik, as well as NXT's Jessi Kamea, Zeta Ramir, Trey Baxter, who may have dodged a bullet because I'm pretty sure they're about to give him a superhero gimmick, Katrina Cortez, Jeet Rama, Frankie Monet, Scarlett, Ember Moon, and Oni Lorcan. So, quite a few names there. Frankie Monet is another name that stands out. I am more excited to see her wrestling somewhere else. Actually, no, I'm not. Like, Frankie Monet is somebody I wanted to see in WWE, because, like it or not, WWE still has, the clout that comes with being the top company. Even though they're not the best storyline or quality, people getting their moment there's still something to that. There's a nostalgia to it. There's a historic feel to it. And I wanted to see Frankie Monet do more in WWE, to be completely honest. But she's going to be perfectly fine. Scarlett and Karrion Kross, releasing them together, you wouldn't keep them apart because obviously they're a couple. But great, you just put out one of the best acts that you've had in a long, long time. Just, sign them up, everybody. We don't care. Like, this is unbelievable. But I'm going to start by talking about Eva Marie. So, in October 2020, Eva Marie signed a contract with WWE to make her return. Great. Good work, Eva Marie. Actually, not really. It sucked and nobody wanted it to happen, and it was pretty criticized from the word go, especially on my end. I was not looking forward to that at all. She debuted on Raw on May the 3rd. By November the 4th, she's been released. So they've been releasing people for budget cuts throughout this whole time, yet in that time they also signed Eva Marie. So the thing with WWE being a publicly traded company and having investors, having a board of directors and all the rest of the stuff that comes with that is it does come down to money. Bottom line, all the people that have investments in WWE want the company to make more money. Okay, great. It's hard to get through to those people. Hey, this person's a good wrestler. Hey, this person's been working all their life for this and this was their chance. You can't communicate that with shareholders and stuff like that because they don't care. That doesn't translate to money. Signing Eva Marie in the middle of all these budget cuts only to release her, that does equal money because the money that they spent on Eva Marie, maybe they could have kept Keith Lee with these budget cuts, which I'm sure they wouldn't have because I'm sure it's not budget cuts. I'm sure there's something else going on here. I still think it's going to be up for sale at some point. I don't know if before the end of the year, but by the end of 2022 for sure, I think WWE is going to be owned by an entity. And it might be Peacock, it might be Disney, who the fuck knows. But that's got to be the reason why they're doing this, just to make it a more attractive, financial prospect for whoever's going to try and, pick it up. Nia Jax was the other... a big name. She kind of commented on this. I'm going to read her comment here. It says, I usually keep my personal life private, but yesterday's reports leave me with no option but to clarify matters. I recently took a short leave of absence from a WWE for a mental health break. I've been working through so much, more than I can share, and so I took some time with the full support of the company to take care of myself. So that explains where Nia Jax has been. It's been a mental health break. Earlier this week, after WWE sent me my schedule to return to the ring on November 15, I asked for an extension to my mental health break, feeling that I needed more time and hoping I would have the ongoing support of the company. I did not receive a response. The next I heard, I was being released. My vaccination status was never mentioned. I wasn't given any choices or options. So the rumor is that she's unvaccinated and that's why. With that being said, she doesn't deny that there, so that may have something to do with it, in which case... I don't know, if it's not mandated, I guess they can't legally release somebody for that reason, but with that being said, get the fucking vaccination, Jesus Christ. I don't know where that leaves her. She's still definitely an attraction. She could be on any card and be a massive, deal if she was booked right. And that's the weird thing with all of this. You see these people in WWE that you're like, Nia Jax, I never really cared for her. What if she was in an environment where somebody knew how to book that character and knew how to make that character entertaining on TV? Maybe that place exists. Maybe it's called AEW. And again, I don't know how many more talent AEW can sign because they're not releasing anybody. You got WWE that's, making all this money and then releasing people left, right, and center. AEW's just seems to be absorbing more talent. So... I don't know if Tony Khan's dipped into his inheritance a little bit early or something, but AEW seems to be doing fine signing all this new talent, and I hope they've got room for more because that's where I want to see these people go. Keith Lee was a big name that was also released. What the fuck is going on with Keith Lee? He's been Bearcat Keith Lee on Raw. It's been dreadful. The moment he left NXT, it was immediately downhill for Keith Lee. So that really sucks. I wish we got more from Keith Lee, from WWE in regarding to Keith Lee while he was there on the main roster, but we didn't. I think he's definitely AEW bound. You don't let a person with that kind of athletic ability and that kind of, just acumen for the wrestling business just, go do indie shows somewhere. He will definitely get snapped up. And where he fits in the AEW roster, fuck, we're going to have to find a spot because what are you going to do? Not sign Keith Lee? Lucha House Party, I'm keen to see where these guys go. Again, I'd love to see him go to AEW. We've already got Fuego del Sol, we've got Penta, we've got Phoenix, we've got Aerostar showing up on there. We've got Samurai del Sol, aka Kalisto, who sent out a tweet and spelt Brody Lee's real name wrong. He spelt John with a H, and Chris Jericho was none too pleased with that. So I don't think we're going to see much more of him in AEW based on that little exchange. I might be wrong, we'll have to wait and see. But there's a great Lucha Libre influence in AEW anyway. And Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado, not just, hey, they're luchadors, let's chuck them in there. They're good luchadors, especially Grand Metalik. Like, he's been so wasted in WWE, and who knows, maybe we'll see him do some stuff with New Japan, or again, like, just the landscape of wrestling at the moment is so uncertain. It's ridiculous trying to predict where these people are going to go, because, you know, ROH has just gone now as well. So it's a wild time in the world of wrestling, but I'm sure Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik are going to be just fine. Maybe we'll see him in MLW, in the Azteca Underground Rebirth, or whatever we're going to call it. And I'll finish up with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Yeah, man, why would you release this group? I've said on this show many times in the past, Karrion Kross looks like, I'm just going to call him Killer Kross from now on, to be honest, because that's a much better name. Killer Kross looks like a movie star. I have said publicly that I think he's going to be like the next Batista. I don't think you're going to see anyone other than maybe John Cena, just because he's a megastar, you know, global name already. I don't think you're going to see anybody else from WWE achieve, you know, real heights in the movie industry until Killer Kross gets in there. And that guy has got so much intensity, and again, he looks like such a professional. He's always played ball. He's great in the ring. Like, again, I'm pretty sure he's fairly young as well. Why would you let this person go? Like, I guess I know why, because they got him on the main roster and they thought, what can we do with this dude? And then they gave him a friggin' gimp outfit and spray painted it red and said, now go be a badass. So, Killer Kross, again, whoever picks him up is going to be having a great fucking day. Can you imagine a Killer Kross, Malachi Black, like, team, faction? Fuck, like, I would be so down for that kind of shit. So, again, not to sound like a broken record, I'd love for all of these guys to be able to go to AEW and get booked well. So, whoever does land there, good on you. And that is this week's You Gotta Be Joking Me.
You gotta be joking me.
But I never have a You Gotta Be Joking Me without following it up with a bit of positivity. So let's have a look at this week's You Beauty.
You beauty! You beauty!
This week's You Beauty is CM Punk. Just his mic work this week over Dynamite and Rampage. We got to see him cut a promo against Nobody when Eddie Kingston wasn't at Dynamite. We got to see him and Kingston get into it on Rampage as well. I mentioned earlier that Punk was very much in support of Jon Moxley's decision to go and seek some rehabilitation for his alcohol issues. That was such a cool thing to see, because I guess, is CM Punk like, you know, straight edge before it came cool? Like, I don't know if it's like necessarily cool, but we're in an age where it's a lot more, not fashionable, but at least acceptable to be empathetic to other people. And if somebody's gone and had issues with alcohol, which can be a very destructive, you know, life-destroying, you know, situation, the fact that CM Punk, with his discipline and his past and what he's always done and how loved and respected he is by the wrestling fans, seeing him go out there in public, say, hey, this guy had a problem and he did the right thing and he went and asked for help, and we should give this motherfucker a cheer right now because that's what you should do. That is, you know, one of the more powerful ways to reach people, like wrestling fans in particular, I guess. And it was so good to see CM Punk reach into that bag and be able to pull out, you know, all of that sort of credibility that he's got in those kind of worlds and just, you know, do something really positive with it. So I was very happy to see that. The promo with Eddie Kingston was off the hook as well. His little line about maybe we should have a match on Dark or Elevation was absolutely lethal. Eddie Kingston's mic work is off the chain. I can't wait to see these two have a match. This was a match that I didn't know I wanted to see in AEW, but now I think about it, and fuck yeah, I do want to see that match. This sounds fucking awesome. So CM Punk's mic work all across the week on AEW gets a You Beauty.
You beauty! You beauty!
And that's going to do it for this week, everybody. Thanks for checking out World Wrestling Straya. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and hit the like button. We've got memes on here. We've got gaming stuff. We've got other wrestling stuff, sports-related content. Or go check out FWCI, etc. That's my main channel with all my reactions and movies and comic book shit. Go check out NBA Straya with Jimmy. He's an absolute legend. The NBA season has been an interesting one. Still got all the drama with Big Simo. We've got KD throwing balls into the crowd. And if you like to keep up to date on what's going on with the NBA, NBA, but you like something that's a bit more entertaining, go check out NBA Straya anywhere you can get your podcasts. And while you're there, subscribe to the Wrestling with Figs podcast with Chris and James. That's all linked in with the Figs Down Under Facebook group on Facebook, so go check those guys out as well. If you want to get involved in the show, use the hashtag #YeahNah in the comments. Ask me a wrestling question. I'll answer it on the next show. And stay tuned for the announcement for the Christmas action figure giveaway as well. And as always, everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.